Donald Trump will meet with Mexico's president today ahead of a major speech on immigration tonight. The GOP nominee confirmed the surprise meeting last night on Twitter, adding that he is looking forward to the visit. Meanwhile, just this morning, Trump tweeted, quote, "Former President Vicente Fox, who is railing against my visit to Mexico today, also invited me when he apologized for using the F-bomb," end quote. You may recall former President Fox said back in February that Mexico would not be paying for that bleep wall. Joining me now is Rosario Marin. She was the United States Treasurer under President George W. Bush, the first Mexican-born person to hold that title. She is also a Republican supporting Hillary Clinton, and she's actually traveling to Mexico later today as well. Rosario, let me begin by asking you about Donald Trump's trip to Mexico today. Many have said that it is simply a publicity stunt. How do you see it?
It certainly is. There is no reason for him to go to Mexico, especially as he's going to be giving a speech on immigration, unless he's going to go out there and apologize to the president of Mexico for all the things that he has done, for all the things that he has said, for the horrible rhetoric that he has employed from the very beginning of his campaign. You know, there is universal condemnation of his rhetoric from Mexico, from the Mexican people. So unless he's going to do that, I don't see a point of him going there. Or if he's going to go, excuse me, if he's going to go in and demand that the president gives him his first installment for the beautiful, huge wall he's going to install.
Which I don't think many people are expecting, and that's been the big question. How is he going to get President Peña Nieto to pay for that wall? I want to go back to something, though. This idea of taking the meeting for Peña Nieto, what's in it for him in having Donald Trump come down there now?
Yeah, that was very unusual. I don't ever recall candidates for president going to Mexico. I remember presidents, you know, going back and forth, but not candidates. Even when John McCain went to Mexico, he didn't meet with the sitting president. So this is very unusual, but I believe the President Peña Nieto, and I have not talked to anybody in his administration, he understands that this is a candidate, and he has taken issue with the rhetoric that has been employed. It's just been awful, just awful.
I know that you cannot speak for all Hispanic voters, but I'm curious as to whether or not there is anything you think Donald Trump can do to reach out to those voters and have them on his side and support the candidate.
At this point, Dana, after a year and almost 2 months of painful and just absolute horrific rhetoric, I don't believe that he can do anything to bring about a whole bunch of Latinos that, like me, feel just completely and totally insulted by all the things that he has said. And it's not so much what he wants to do, it's how he has said it. The tone has just been awful. I'm an immigrant. I'm from Mexico. I'm not a rapist. I'm not a murderer. I'm not a criminal. And when he just talked the way he did, and he talks about this wall, and you know, we're neighbors. There's supposed to be a lot more friendship, and there isn't. And he has, with his rhetoric, he has really enticed a lot of people to look at Latinos and Hispanics differently. And I thought we had gone along, you know, in a different way for a long time. So to bring all of this back is just absolutely devastating to many of us that have worked so hard within the Republican Party to expand the base and to include Latinos and to bring them into the fore. So he doesn't deserve our vote. There's nothing, him going to Mexico, you know, and then what is he going to say during the immigration speech? It's going to be more of the same. So it's just a publicity stunt. You know, he's desperate for more publicity, and he is making the media do what he's always had the media done, to follow him 24/7, to talk about him 24/7, and it's just very tragic.
Your decision to abandon the Republican Party in this election and vote for a Democrat for the first time, you've talked about that. You said it was soul-searching, a profound process. What was the ultimate decision for you, not just in abandoning Donald Trump, but then in endorsing Hillary Clinton?
Yeah. So, Dana, it's been painful for me. This whole this listening to this guy for all this time, it's just been very, very painful. And then what do I do? What message do I send? If I just continue to keep quiet and say I'm just not going to vote for him, somehow I'm going along with what he's doing and saying. The party needs to listen to the message, and the message is we're not going to take this anymore. Candidates cannot talk about Hispanics and immigrants the way they do without any repercussions. I suspect, and I expect actually, that he's going to get a lot less votes than even Mitt Romney did. And and it's really sad because with President George W. Bush, he got 44% of the Hispanic vote, but you never heard him talk the way this man has done about immigrants. And then it's just immigration as a whole. I mean, even the high-skilled visas, he's against that. Where are these people going to go and give their talents to? To India, to China, when we should be getting that? I mean, it's a plethora of things. But it is painful. It's very painful for me. I would have never considered voting for a Democrat. Now, if he was a different candidate, I would have never considered going for a Democrat. I do not take away from the fact that she's been a senator for 2 terms. She was elected by the state of New York, which is a very important state, and she was Secretary of State. I have disagreed with her, but I don't take away the fact that she knows how government works. This guy has no clue. Has absolutely no clue. And so I'm I had to do the right thing. I have to, I want to be able to look at my grandchildren and say, I did everything that I could. He doesn't deserve a vote. He did everything to unearn it. And so I will do what I think is the right thing to do, and that is vote for Hillary.
Former U.S. Treasurer Rosario Marin, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Earlier on CBS This Morning, Vice Presidential nominee Mike Pence previewed Trump's trip to Mexico along with that immigration speech. Norah O'Donnell began by asking Pence about the border wall that Trump plans to build.
One issue that Donald Trump has not wavered on is to build the wall. How much do you estimate it will cost to build the wall?
Well, I think that's yet to be seen, but you're absolutely right. He hasn't wavered for a minute, and I expect he'll reinforce that commitment when he meets with the president of Mexico today. And I just have to tell you, I'm so proud of Donald Trump's decision to head to Mexico. I think the American people are seeing today the kind of decisive leader that he will be as president. He gets an invitation late last week to meet with our neighbor to the south, and even in the midst of a day when he's in Washington State, big speech last night, important if not historic speech tonight on illegal immigration. He's headed down to Mexico, and I think it's emblematic of the kind of president and the kind of leadership that he'll continue to provide.
Governor, one issue that has been less clear is what Donald Trump would do with the estimated 11 undocumented immigrants in this country. He suggested in a town hall last week that they will pay back taxes. So for those who are in this country, have paid taxes or do not have a criminal record, will they be allowed to stay?
Well, I think what people will hear tonight is really the details of a plan and an objective that Donald Trump has been laying out since he put the issue of illegal immigration at the very center of the national debate now more than a year ago in the Republican primaries.
Forgive me, Governor, I didn't hear an answer to my question.
Forgive
me, Governor, I didn't hear an answer to my question. Let's be clear. Of the 11 million estimated undocumented immigrants in this country, if they have been paying taxes and don't have a criminal record, or if they paid back taxes, will they be allowed to stay? Yes or no?
I think, Nora, people are going to hear, well, I like the way you want me to answer questions, but let me answer them my way. I think what you'll hear tonight is Donald Trump will reinforce a commitment to strong borders, to building a wall, to internal enforcement, ending sanctuary cities, and he'll also make it very clear, to your question, that there'll be no path to legalization, no path to citizenship. People will need to leave the country to be able to obtain legal status or obtain citizenship, and that's going to be very consistent with what he said throughout the course of this campaign. And the contrast, obviously, with
Governor,
Hillary Clinton couldn't be more dramatic.
Governor,
Hillary Clinton's an advocate of amnesty. an advocate of sanctuary cities, an advocate of more executive amnesty, and that contrast will be very clear.
Thank you. I want to just be clear, because I'm still confused, and I try and follow this very closely, so I want to make sure our viewers know your position. I know you're proud of the position, so let's be clear. For the 11 undocumented immigrants, 11 million rather, estimated undocumented immigrants in this country, they will be deported.
What you will hear tonight from Donald Trump is a very clear articulation of the very same principles he articulated in the course of the primary campaigns, that he is going to end the flood of illegal immigration.
Do you know the answer, Governor? Have you seen the speech?
Security.
Governor, have you seen the speech he'll give tonight?
Well, it's going to begin with, well, look, we've had lots of discussions about the speech tonight. I'll let the speech speak for itself tonight, Nora. But and I know people are anxious to know what's in it, but tune in tonight. You know, it's going to be a very important address, and the American people, as they're used to from Donald Trump, are going to hear someone who speaks very plainly, very forthrightly. And in the context of that speech, Donald Trump is going to lay out the impact that illegal immigration has had on this country, the impact that it's had on costing jobs for American citizens and people who are here legally, the cost of suppressing wages over the last 10 and 15 years, and frankly, the fact that illegal immigration has actually cost lives in this country will be in high relief again tonight. Look, Donald Trump going today to Mexico is beginning a relationship with the president of Mexico and with that nation that I believe is to his credit. I think it shows the kind of broad-shouldered leader he is. He's willing to sit down with people with whom he may have strong differences of opinion to look for things that we can work on together and begin the process of discussions. But I think at the end of the day, tonight, the American people are going to hear that clear-eyed message that under Donald Trump, different from Hillary Clinton, we're going to end the flood of illegal immigration. We're going to uphold the Constitution and the rule of law. We're going to make our nation more prosperous and more safe as a result.
Governor, after the last election in which Mitt Romney lost to Barack Obama, the Republican Party did an internal examination about what went wrong. One of the issues that Chairman Pence has talked about is outreach to minority voters, and he wrote this in particular, quote, "If Hispanic Americans perceive that a GOP nominee or candidate does not want them in the United States, i.e. self-deportation, they will not pay attention to our next sentence. It does not matter what we say about education, jobs, or the economy. If Hispanics think we do not want them here, they will close their ears to our policies." In the last election, Governor Romney got 27% of the Hispanic vote. Do you agree with what Chairman Pence wrote? Priebus, excuse me.
Well, what I agree with is that Donald Trump was right more than a year ago to put the issue of illegal immigration back at the center of the national debate. It had really drifted off the attention of many of you in the media and, frankly, of leaders in both political parties. And the American people are very troubled by it. They know that in this lackluster economy, the slowest economic recovery since the Great Depression, that a flood of illegal immigration has literally cost jobs for American citizens, including Latinos and Hispanics who are here in this country. It's suppressed wages in this country, and it's brought violence to our streets in too many instances. I've actually met with families that have lost children because of violent acts by illegal immigrants. And Donald Trump has made it very clear that that's going to be a priority of this administration. When we take office after January 20th, there'll be a focus on removing from this country people who have engaged in criminal conduct beyond their status as illegal immigrants. And you'll hear tonight, I think, a large-scale plan that's all grounded in the principle that in Donald Trump we'll finally see an end and a reversal of this flood of illegal immigration.
Governor, thank you.